It takes a village to raise a child. But what if this village is broken? Imagine the number of children that have suffered in silence just because the parents thought it wise that living with your relative would give you better chances at life. The story of Ochanya has sparked a lot of conversation, and one of the most important things that people are not really talking about is this culture that we have in our African society. The culture of sending children to live with relatives. This is not like a one family thing, or this is not like only Ochanya story. In fact, we have this going on in schools. The abuse thing is everywhere. I really do not like talking about topics like this because it's very sensitive. But for your sake, I'm going to take us through the pros and cons of this culture that we have in Africa. Why do parents send their kids to live with their relatives? From the parent side, they believe it gives access to better education. In the case of Ochanya, she left her parents' side because the parent thought that there were no better schools in the village they were at.
I was 5 years old. I went to my mother's sister's house to school because there was no school in my village.
And mind you, this was not just any relative. This was like a sister or whatever they call it in Nigeria. There is also the assertion that it strengthens family ties. Sometimes these parents are really going through it. Like they do not have the means to survive. So they feel like pushing their words to their relative is it's a little easier and it's better. And that's like an assumption. Okay, this is one of our problems. They assume that wherever their wards are going, they will have better living conditions compared to where they are now. Now, for the child, he's going to get better education, experience new terrains and new environments. A change of environment is actually good. If it works out, this child is going to have very good networking. The good intention behind sending the children to the relatives usually does not equate to the outcomes. And this is clear in the case of Ochanya.
So when I went there, when I was 8, the son started sleeping with me. Then when the sister caught him, the sister then reported him to the father. Then the father scolded at him, and that was when the father started.
I still don't get why some men would go to the extent of doing this to children. And usually the bad side is always on the children. First of all, they go through abuse, a lot of abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, like what Ochanya just experienced. There's favoritism. For instance, if the host has children, there's no way he or she is going to favor the child you are bringing to her or him over his or her own children. Even in our own homes with our own siblings, our parents have their favorites. How much more going into another person's home? I remember I saw a video on Twitter. In fact, watch this video.
Hey, who had on me money them one? What's na me man who said daddy? Me man want to send for who feel can kind of mammy man home. Ah, can you not free her? In a nimni who be at a bay for quite much did ye. Can't be a fear. A poor fool.
She nimni will be as a bay for quite much did ye. Disclaimer, I learned this is like a stage thing and it's not a real thing. But these things do happen in these homes. Even though this is a skit, it directly tells you some of the things that children go through. And in a case like this, these insults were unwarranted. What did the child do? What was her offense? She was just watching videos on the tablets that the lady's children were watching on. Look, there are psychological traumas that children go through when they end up staying with relatives. These children come out and they feel isolated, like they feel like they should isolate themselves from the world. They are not introverts. No, they were not born introverts. They grew up with a lot of fear, such that they are scared to do certain things that normal children would even do. They have trust issues. They have trust issues in adults because these adults that you like, they will come to your aid if somebody is doing something bad to you, are the same people that are doing something bad to you. So then who do you go to? In this video, I'm going to tell you some of the reasons children cannot even come out to talk about some of these things. They also grew up with this thing, the systemic silence. When the elders are talking, you don't talk. Like when you have an issue with a grown-up, you cannot even say it.
She used to visit her, but when she visits, the people they are always around. So, and I know that she there is no way she would have even told my mom, because that kind of thing. How do you tell I know very well that in her mind she knew that nobody would believe her.
These are some of the things that they go through. Now let's move on to why they keep quiet. Why the silence? Why do they not talk when they go through this sort of abuse? Because referring back to Ochanya's case, she couldn't speak up until the sister came to her and was like,
and I believe that it was because of that counsel that I gave Ochanya that made her summon that courage to open her mouth. So if not that I took Ochanya from my aunt's place, she would have died. Nobody would have known what killed my sister.
Before the family took action. And the sad part is, when the child was taken to hospital, none of the results was shown to the biological parents.
They were admitted in April. The entire hospital bills were paid by me. Yet Mrs. Ogbuja, in this case Feliciano, made sure to keep the test results from us. We have been the ones paying her school fees. We even buy things and talk to her occasionally.
Now, this is the thing. It's not like the parents did not have money to take care of their child. The parents were taking care of the kid, like monetarily. They were paying the fees and so on and so forth. For that reason, when they shout justice for Ochanya, we all shout in accordance. Whatever thing the court decided some months ago is bullocks. Like, the man and the child should be sentenced to much more than what they are going through, the woman included. The reason some of these children cannot even talk is because they have the fear of not being believed. Also, they have the fear of being punished. They feel like if they do talk about it, instead of they scolding the uncle or trying to bring them to book, they will end up being punished. And it happens a lot. Like, sometimes you complain about what somebody has done to you and you get scolded for complaining about what the person has done to you. The culture of silence that I talked about a few moments ago, where you cannot talk against the elderly, you cannot challenge the elderly. And one important thing we actually overlook is the fact that there is a lack of emotional connection between the child and then the parent. Even some of us at this age lack the emotional connection with some of our parents. You cannot relate to them on any level for you to even trust them, and that becomes an issue. So if you're going through things, personal things, you do not even know how to go to your mother or your father to tell her that, oh ma, I'm going through this, or that I'm going through that, because they are not even around. And even if they are around, when you go and tell them, usually they brush you off. Now, to the critical point, Africans endorse some sort of abuse, and it's very disheartening. They endorse some sort of abuse. So when children are going through those kinds of abuse, they cannot even talk about this. For example, beating. They beat children anyhow when they make mistakes. Like, it is seen as a form of scolding, starvation. Do this, you didn't do it, so I'm not giving you food. It is seen as normal. So if you send your child to your relative and your relative is maltreating the child, he or she cannot even talk about it because I am not being fed, and probably my uncle is saying, oh,
I'm not going to give you food because you didn't do ABC, and because you didn't wash the bowls, I'm not going to give you food.
Like, it happens a lot. When it comes to the silence, there's one thing. Like, there was a lady that came out recently in Ghana here, and she was complaining about the head teacher that like wanted to do something with her, that got her traumatized and a whole lot of stuff. Like, and the only reason she couldn't talk about it was because people believe that man is so angelic, is an angel. I don't even have to say this a lot because you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Similar thing is happening with the pastors and all those things. But there are churches that you go to and some of these church members get abused. But because of how powerful these pastors are, you cannot say anything against them and nobody will believe. Look, we were here when TB Joshua's issue came up. May his soul rest in peace. A lot of allegations, even from his daughter, is it adopted daughter or also, I stand to be corrected, whether adopted daughter or biological daughter. But I digress. I believe that it's about time when we take a look back at this kind of culture that we practice. The taking of children to relatives. There might be like very good opportunities that will come out of if it works out. It's very good, but more often than not, it doesn't work out. There are some cases where the people the relative you are sending your child to, they do not have children. Your child becomes their child. In those cases, More often than not, it works out. But in cases where these people do have their own children, it doesn't work. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't work. So we see these people going through a lot of stuff like that. This culture should be reviewed. Even if you must send your child to a relative, you should be doing constant checkups. You should be doing constant checkups. And even the constant checkups you are doing, it's not just any checkup, because for Ochanya's case, the parents were sending her money, they were sending them food, like all those things. But still, look at what happened. When you are checking up on your children, ask the right questions. Are you being treated right? What is going on? You can confide in me. Let your child know that you are there for them, whether good or bad. Personally, that's my hot take. I think we should stop sending children to relatives. We should stop it. Like I think people, too many children have suffered. But then again, you look at the other side and look at those that have benefited from going to stay with relatives, and you make the argument that, okay, you know what, maybe let's regulate it. Even for those that have made it from staying with relatives, they do not talk about what they've gone through because they've benefited at the end of the day. How sure are we that that benefit they benefited, they didn't go through what Ochanya went through, or what some of the children are going through in SHS? That reminds me, I'll actually do a video about the SHS saga. I saw a video where a teacher was asking for allowance for what? Trying to not sleep with the children and all those, which is bullshit for me. I saw a video about that. And these children that we are even trying to protect, what they are doing in those schools. I'll probably do a video about that and then talk about it in another video. But right now, parents cannot just trust anybody, whether it's your brother or your sister. Don't trust them. Don't dump your children on them, and close your mind. Human beings cannot be trusted. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I really would love to know what you think. I pray that justice is served for Ochanya. I pray that the perpetrators are brought to book. The 4 months or 5 months jail term doesn't make any sense. Like, they should be in for life. Okay, like the woman should be jailed for life because she hid crucial information that, if had gotten to Ochanya's parents, might have saved the kid's life. Yeah, they should find a son and bring him to book. But let me know what you think in the comment section. And let me know what other stories we can talk about on this channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.